Warm welcome from me. Thank you very much for joining.
And welcome from me to this opportunity to gain insights as we face a shared challenge unlike anything we've experienced before. We'll start in Hong Kong with Chris Lean.
Why would you invest in Hong Kong? Key consideration is that Hong Kong is a free port. Capital gains are tax-free. It is now and will be the IPO center of the world. This is important because this is where wealth creation will be. We've just come back into a lockdown for our third wave of COVID, which is unfortunate. But prior to that, we had some of the strongest months for sales. So there is liquidity here. In terms of the other big macro factors for Hong Kong, so I've mentioned that Hong Kong will be a future center of wealth for Asia, especially as Chinese companies list in Hong Kong. Two, the big policy for the GBA, and this may or may not be news to you, but the GBA is a big policy development with China and Hong Kong and the Pearl River Delta. So this includes Shenzhen, Zhuhai, Macau, Hong Kong, and the Guangdong province. It means that they're integrating this area into a big economic zone of 70 million people. 70 million people within 30 minutes of each other.
We were the epicenter of COVID-19. It started in March, and for us being essential, it didn't end till June. We became essential in phase 2. Most of the residents left for secondary homes, whether they're vacation homes or rentals. New England, the Hamptons. An example is in my building, there's 200 units, only 30 were occupied.
Well, the last 3 years, we've had a huge glut of new condominiums, new development on the market. New apartments in the city are about 12% of what we have for sale. In the good news for buyers, some of these developers are giving great incentives. They're paying for taxes, they're paying closing costs. Some of the big developers are actually going out of business, and those apartments will be sold by banks.
It's my pleasure to welcome you to the city of Frankfurt, a city that is most known for its banks. It's the seat of the European Central Bank. And unlike many others of you, I'm happy to say that we have not been affected negatively by the situation at all. We can also shift in demand when it comes for properties with gardens, especially houses, freestanding houses and apartments with a garden. The demand for those properties increased by 40%. So you see, like also my colleague from New York said, people want to have a garden, they need outdoor space, they need more space inside. They probably are looking for spaces for home office possibilities, and they're also looking for extra space for relatives.
The effects of COVID in the Santa Monica marketplace has been pretty devastating overall for a short period of time, due mostly to the fact that it's families and we couldn't show properties. So we locked down on March 16th. For the second quarter sales, we only had 29 single family homes that sold, which is a 50% decrease. I can tell you in June that number has shot up and we are almost where we should be for year-to-date sales. The condo market and townhomes in Santa Monica only saw a 15% decrease. I expect that to continue to be a decreased number as more and more people try to step up into the single family homes. Year-to-date, we're selling very well in the $10 to $20 million price range. And we've had 2 big sales, one at 43 and one at 66.
Mallorca, the biggest island of the Balearic Islands, has 40 years of real estate experience, catering for the second home market across Europe. And Mallorca is a destination that goes through generations. Parents, children, grandparents keep coming back, moving in different kind of properties, but basically staying on the island. About 80% of the purchases that take place are done with cash. Cash, which partly comes from where David Schmidt comes from Frankfurt and other places within Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. So the prices in the second home market where we are active are incredibly stable. We have a share within the total 4 billion market of the Balearic Islands of 1.6 billion coming from international purchasers. And it is these international purchasers who are keeping the market active and who are making sure that the economy, which is connected to real estate, keeps going.
The pandemic has actually created some amazing opportunities in our market. People have started thinking about the opportunity to move into a home where they have enough space. Open floor plans are no longer important. They want rooms with doors so they can go into a room, close the door, and have a Zoom call with their office, or their college-age students who have been home doing online learning can go and study and not be in the kitchen with everybody else. So there's been a real shift away from open floor plans. Larger kitchens are important because people are not eating outside in restaurants. We are currently in Illinois, we're in stage 4 of the reopening. Some people are eating outside, but an awful lot of people are still choosing to cook at home. Private outdoor space is probably the most important feature that people want right now. That has caused a lot of movement back into the suburbs now that they know that they can work from home in the downtown market. If a home's got a terrace or a large balcony, a place where they can sit outside, that's very, very appealing.
We've seen really good stable prices here. So the prices didn't come down. We had no COVID discount here, neither in the low segment, not in the high segment. And in the middle segment, people were simply waiting. People didn't know, will we still sell? What will the year bring? How will it turn out? We just didn't know. So it happened to us that some of our owners actually canceled sales mandates while we already had the expose made and had really nice photos, because they've all of a sudden found, it's quite nice at home. Do I really want to sell? For those people, those owners who were unsure what to do now, how long to wait, we actually encouraged them to do renovations. We showed them the potential. So we did all kinds of those preparatory things to be ready for actually what now. Now our market is on fire.
Overall, our market that has been driven for many years by condos is now driven by single-family homes since COVID. In talking about being a year-round destination, we're really starting to ramp up. We have a small tech industry close to Park City growing, but if you go approximately 30-40 minutes into the Salt Lake Valley, we have a very large tech industry known as Silicon Slopes. I mentioned 5 hospitals within 45 minutes. One of the things that our clients have noticed is our hospital beds have never exceeded 15% capacity. So overall, we have a very healthy environment and we have a very healthy economy, and we've been very stable.
Last year was a record year for Paris. I mean, there was a very big increase in sales, and the price per square meter has gone up a lot. The western part of Paris has a higher price than the eastern, but the demand is 92% for Parisian buyers. The 6th and the 7th, those are the most expensive neighborhoods because they're close to the museums, the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay, and all the great restaurants and shopping. So that's a premium area for foreign buyers.
It was quite interesting with the pandemic also. It pushed us to be more digitally habile, but also the notaries. Now we are doing transactions online. Like we're signing the official transfer of deeds is being done online, which is totally new. And that's going to stay in the future also. People spending more time in their home, and they also realize that some of their properties did not meet their needs. Like, I think this is a global reality. People are looking for homes with land, condos with terraces, an additional closed room for an office for, your Zoom meeting with your colleagues.
Sardinia is a very big island, and Costa Smeralda is just 50 kilometers of coast in Sardinia. Actually, at this moment, we are in a rush. We are in a full season. Rentals this summer exceeded my expectations, to be honest with you. and we generate more commission than the last year. Concerning the sale, we started to sell in March, the full COVID. We had to do notarization. We had to help clients. Clients are coming to buy more than last year. So I don't know why people is searching to buy in Sardinia this summer. Probably it's because Sardinia was and is a COVID-free region, fortunately.
If you take a look at the domestic market, our average income here is $72,000. Now, we do have a broadening tech sector. Amazon, as well as Shopify, have both taken down two pretty significant office buildings downtown. I'm confident that that's probably going to have a fairly strong influence on the rental market. A lot of the tech folks coming into town will start out in the rental market. So the rental market is probably going to be relatively buoyant going forward. The biggest opportunities right now are clearly in the high-end market. With the foreign buyer now not around anymore, the domestically driven market is pretty much anything under $3 million in Vancouver. So what that means is that our inventory, which is quite high right now in the north of $3 million range, has the best opportunities.
As we look at the range of property types and prices in these markets, it's striking how many of the same trends we're seeing around the world.
And we'll hopefully be back with a format such as this one. We have many more wonderful places to put the spotlight on. So thank you very much and have a good evening.